Peace, family. Why am I such a big supporter of segregation? Why do I talk about this and building our own independent means to sustain our own way of life, creating our own communities, having self-determination over our people? It's because of stories like this.
Welcome back. Let's take you to Florida now. And there are growing calls for the arrest of a woman accused of shooting and killing her neighbor in front of the victim's children. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who's representing the family of Ajika A.J. Owens, says Owens' children were playing near their home in Ocala when an unidentified white woman began yelling at them to get them off of her property, reportedly calling them racial slurs. When their mom, Owens, later went to speak to that woman, their neighbor, that woman, allegedly shot her through the door, and she later died from her injuries.
It's funny. Every time there's a black person and a white person that's in such a situation like this, the black people are always the first ones to be identified. Picture, poster, everything. But the white accuser, the white instigator, the white aggressor is always the last to be identified. This is so they can gather as much dirt as they can on the victim of racism and hatred, as opposed to the instigator of it. This is why I am the way I am, and this is why I must stay the way I am. But let's continue.
The neighbor has not been arrested. Our Lindsay Reiser's following this for us. This is so sad. The woman's children were watching when their mom was shot. The lawyer representing the family, Benjamin Crump, has called this an unjustified killing. What are you learning?
That is so tragic. And the actual shooting happened Friday night at 9. So we know what Ben Crump says led up to this. Kids were playing that field near an apartment or duplex complex when he says the neighbor, who he describes as a 58-year-old white woman, yelled at them, called them racial slurs, told them to get off of the property. The kids leaving behind a tablet. She grabs it. And one of the kids later goes to her house to try and retrieve it. And that is when, according to Ben Crump, she throws something at or toward them, hits one of the kids. Grandmother and police are saying that that's a pair of skates. He goes home to tell his mother, A.J. Owens. She goes to talk to the neighbor, and that is when the shooter, now we know is the shooter, is telling police her version of events, saying it was a heated exchange, yelling and aggression on both sides, banging on doors, threats being made. And A.J. Owens' mother says that door never opened and the shooter shot through the door, hitting A.J. and ultimately killing her. The woman responsible hasn't been publicly identified, hasn't been arrested, hasn't been charged by anything with law enforcement. As you mentioned, the 9-year-old son right next to her, 2 of the 4 kids may have witnessed this. And A.J. Owens' family and friends, they say she was a cheer mom, a football mom, so involved in the kids' lives, so loving, and they say this was unjustified. Listen.
Now, before we proceed, let's keep in mind this woman stays right next door. They done had altercations before. Of course, there's boundary lines to be respected between homeowners. But when you see children out there, children don't know anything about property lines. They're playing. This overaggressive white woman, who historically has always invaded the lands of other people's territory and then dictated their own terms and conditions. These children had not that mindset at all. They're going to retrieve a toy, and you're going to throw something at the children. And then come to find out later on in the story, as she said, it was a roller skate. Do you know what kind of damage you could cause to somebody, a child, if you hit them with roller skates? Them wheels are incredibly hard. The rubber stop on them is incredibly hard. You could kill a kid by throwing a pair of skates in their direction. That alone should be reason for her to be arrested. That alone should be the reason for her to have her face plastered across the TV screen, as opposed to the mother of the children. This is why this is, like I said, this is systemic racism. The powers that have over the arrest of assailants or perpetrators, all in the hands of white people. This is why I say we cannot integrate with these people. remember talking to this troll, and he was talking about, well, I haven't necessarily called him a troll, but this white guy. And he was talking about separating yourself from the good and evil people. And then take the best of humanity. Well, to me, the best of humanity is children. And this is what this white woman has done to these children. You throw roller skates at them, and then you kill the mother of them right while they're standing right next to you. This is how these people treat the best of humanity. Imagine the mental damage that this kid is going to suffer now, knowing that the reason why his mother is the way she is now is because you went and told your mama what this white woman did. And had you not did that, she wouldn't have went over there, and she'd be with you today. This is what this boy going to have to struggle with for the rest of his life. Because we insist, as the parents, to live next to these monsters. But let's listen to what the mother of the victim has to say.
She wanted to know why this happened. She knocked on Susan's door. A closed, locked door. Door never opened. My daughter, my grandchildren's mother, was shot and killed with her 9-year-old son standing next to her. She had no weapon. She posed no imminent threat to anyone.
So police.
You know, I want to tell this grieving mother that I feel your pain. I know it's difficult and hard for you to sit up here and try to explain what just transpired. And as she's telling this story, I'm also envisioning in my head the mother's reaction as a child come to her probably crying, scared, telling her what happened. And the mother is racing over there with the child in hand to see what happened with her children. If they had a history, and it's said they did, the mother's not coming over there, I don't believe, to fight. If that's the case, somebody throw something at my child, and I go over there to investigate. If I have intentions on jumping this guy or this woman, whoever throws something at my baby on sight, I'm going to leave my child at home. I'm not going to bring my child with me. Once she knocked at the door, that gave this predator, she knew exactly what she was standing at when she was knocking at that door. And she shot precisely in the area of that door when the mother knocked. Could have easily hit the child next to her. But like I said, this is the compassion that these people have. This is why I stress the urgency for our people to get together and segregate, not just select from the white people, the ones we think is good. We got to separate from all of them. We can't let one of these mother effers in there. Just like there was aliens on the sci-fi movie, we can't afford to let one of these monsters within our barrier. It's just as simple as that. But let's conclude with this video.
There was an ongoing threat between Owens and the neighbor, at least 6 to 8 prior incidents. And police are saying if there is any potential element of the stand your ground law in Florida, they cannot immediately make an arrest. They have to investigate. They have to see. They have to determine whether use of deadly force was justified.
And I know that they're urging the community to have patience as they continue this investigation.
Right, we still need to interview the kids. I mean, the kids.
So that's another element. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lindsay Reiser.
So because Florida has a stand your ground law, you kill somebody stating you stood your ground, they can't immediately arrest you. This is all just a delay tactic. And now you got to investigate the children, which is further delaying justice. We've been waiting 150 years for justice. It's time we stop waiting. I can't wait no longer.